Reported speech is a report of what somebody has said from their perspective, from their point in time at the moment of speaking, through their eyes, or through your eyes in the past, for that matter, if you're reporting your own words. Because with time, things change. What was important then could have changed, or might be irrelevant now. Here's a real-life example. In my previous video, I said, I'm planning to make videos every Wednesday and Sunday. If you reported it as Zhenya said, she is planning to make videos every Wednesday and Sunday, it wouldn't be truthful because things have changed. When I realized how long it had taken me to prepare examples for this video, I stopped planning anything. So it was true then, but it isn't true now. I also told you a little about myself in that video. For example, I said, I like rock music, or I am learning Italian. What if I don't like rock music anymore? What if I'm not learning Italian anymore? English speakers are very specific. They tend to stick to the facts. So, if you want to report what I really said, you go 1 tense back to the past, to when I said it, to when it was true. I like rock music. Zhenya said she liked rock music. I'm learning Italian. Zhenya said she was learning Italian. I have seen white whales in the wild. Zhenya said she had seen white whales in the wild. I have been teaching English for 9 years. Zhenya said she had been teaching English for 9 years. I did rock climbing last year. Zhenya said she had done rock climbing in 2020. Nowhere to go from here. I couldn't start making this video earlier because my neighbors were drilling. Zhenya said she couldn't start making that video earlier because her neighbors had been drilling. Nowhere to go from here either. I'll switch from teaching English to teaching Russian one day. Zhenya said she would switch from teaching English to teaching Russian one day. I hope this time next year I will be swimming in the sea. Zhenya said she hoped at the same time in 2022 she would be swimming in the sea. By the end of this video you will have figured out the logic of English tenses. Zhenya said by the end of that video I would have figured out the logic of English tenses. By next week I will have been practicing blind typing for a month. Zhenya said by the following week she would have been practicing blind typing for a month. If somebody says, do it, Be quiet. Calm down. How do you report their words? Let's take another situation. I decided to do it. Sounds right? In the same way, he told me to do it. What if they said, don't do it? Again, I wanted to do it, but then I changed my mind. I decided against it. I decided not to do it. He told me not to do it. Let's make this direct speech indirect. It was worse than you can possibly imagine. It was worse than you can possibly imagine.
He said it had been worse than she could possibly imagine.
He said it had been worse than she could possibly imagine. He was talking about a meeting. The meeting was first, then their conversation, then reporting. If you report it as he said it was worse, it'll sound as if he was at the meeting at the moment of speaking. On the phone, maybe. It'll sound as if he had said, it is worse than you can possibly imagine. The next example. The fact that I am his brother makes no difference. The fact that I am his brother makes no difference.
You said the fact you were his brother made no difference. It doesn't.
You said the fact that you were his brother made no difference. By it doesn't, Mycroft means it still doesn't make any difference. Another one's funny. I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief.
You told me you weren't a thief.
I wasn't.
You told me you weren't a thief. I wasn't. The hound wasn't a thief when he told Arya he wasn't. He stole money after that. The next. I have seen terrible things.
He said he'd seen terrible things.
He said he'd seen terrible things. He said he had seen terrible things. She was drinking. She was drinking.
I was made to believe that she had been drinking.
I was made to believe that she had been drinking. I can teach you. I can teach you.
He said he could teach me. Well, here I am.
He said he could teach me. You just heard Cockney dialect. Some people in London speak it. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me.
He said not to argue with you.
You said not to argue with you. She has been in there all afternoon crying. She's been in there all afternoon crying.
She said that she'd been in there all afternoon, crying.
She said that she'd been in there all afternoon crying. She said that she had been in there all afternoon crying. Don't sit too close. Don't sit too close.
I was told not to sit too close.
I was told not to sit too close. There'll be food and lots of it. There'll be food and lots of it.
He said there'd be food and lots of it.
He said.
He said there'd be food and lots of it. I am doing so well at college, they are sending me on a residential course. I am doing so well at college, they are sending me on a residential course.
I said that I was doing so well at college, they were sending me on a residential course.
I said that I was doing so well at college, they were sending me on a residential course. Tell us when our time is up. Tell us when our time's up.
Dr. Chase, I told you to tell us when our time was up.
Dr. Chase, I told you to tell us when our time was up. The histories will never mention you, but I will not forget. The histories will never mention you, but I will not forget.
You said the histories would never mention me, but you would not forget.
You said the histories would never mention me, but you would not forget. Have you forgotten, Lord Varys? I am 65 years old. I am 65.
He's 66 years old.
Told me he was 65.
He said he was 65. Maybe he turned 66 the next day. See, it's all perfectly logical. Beautiful even. But not nearly as interesting as why very often we don't go 1/10 back in reported speech. I'm not sure I have a definitive answer, so I'm asking you to think together with me. I have a cup. It's old. It's white with flowers on it. Pink, blue, yellow. When you imagined this cup, you were looking at it through my eyes. Now, when you're looking at it, it's more difficult to distance yourself from what you see, isn't it? The shorter the distance, the less we tend to distance. Note, if you don't distance, technically you don't report, you interpret, you change the meaning for some reason. If you are in the same situation, if the distance is short, context helps. Let's look at this situation.
I'm starting to get worried. Jude said they've been gone for hours.
They're just lost.
I'm starting to get worried. Jude said they've been gone for hours. They have been gone for hours. Why no backshift? Jude just said that. They're in the same situation. They're worried. They don't know where their kids are. It's important at the time of reporting. Not only the distance between you and the person whose words you're reporting is important, but also the distance between you and the person who's listening. In the first episode of the 4th season, Sherlock reports the same words.
She betrayed me. Betrayed us all.
Differently. To Mary.
He said you betrayed him.
To his brother.
AJ said that they'd been betrayed.
Why so? Sherlock and Mary are in the same situation, in the same context. Mycroft, Sherlock's brother, is looking at this situation from the outside. So Sherlock has to be more specific. That and he's calling the British government, after all. His brother works for it. So Sherlock is being formal too. And formal means distance. Another example I found interesting.
I said it's not a cyst. I didn't say it was nothing.
I said it isn't a cyst. I didn't say it was nothing. Why do you think House in one sentence doesn't use backshift and then uses it? It isn't, not wasn't, a cyst, because he still believes it isn't a cyst. But why does he go on with I didn't say it was nothing? I think by contrasting is and was here, he distances himself from that nothing, because it's not his word, it's Cameron's word. She said it. House didn't. I didn't say it was nothing, not mine. When the reporting verb isn't present, we obviously don't use backshift. For example, you're reading a label and it says, "It is homemade." It says homemade, and you can say, it says it's homemade. It's a label. It can't change its mind. Another example.
I'm told he reads all night.
I'm told he drinks all night.
I'm told he reads all nights. I'm told he drinks all night. Rumors. People talk, you know. Some say he drinks all night. Some say he reads all nights. Or
Matt says the only ideas worth writing about are the big ideas.
Max says the only ideas worth writing about are the big ideas. Max has probably said it repeatedly. This is what he believes. Another important thing. In reported speech, we report what somebody said in the past. So we change now to then, or right away, depending on the context. Here to there, unless is the same place. What if it's here, here? My place here. He said he would be here in an hour. This we change to that, unless it's the same thing. These to those. Today, that day, the day we had a conversation. Tonight, that night. Yesterday, the day before the conversation. Tomorrow, the next day or the following day. Unless my friend said yesterday, I'll call you tomorrow. If he said it yesterday, I would report it as he said he would call me today, right? Last week becomes the week before the conversation. Next week, the week after the conversation. You don't need to add the conversation. It's just for you to understand it better. Next time, we'll talk about questions in reported speech. See you!